Welcome everybody. Today I'm gonna be talking with you about industries after the election. We are going to talk about 5 industries. First is going to be oil industry. Second is going to be uranium industry. Third is going to be cannabis industry. Fourth is going to be a banking industry. And fifth is going to be a defense industry. I'm going to take a look at those industries from the perspective of the stocks which I own, and I'll tell you what I think is going to happen in the future. Of course, this is going to be my subjective opinion about all those industries and the stocks. So let's jump into the subject. Right now we are after the election and it looks like the election is already over and the winner is not officially declared and certified by election commissions, but looks like we will have a Democratic president. So what does this mean? Let's say first for oil industry. Democrats, they don't really like oil. They don't like big oil companies. They don't like new drilling facilities. So what I think, at least in United States, oil companies are not going to have a great time for another 4 years at least. And the companies which I own in oil industry is Schlumberger and Marathon. So those companies have also outside of US exposure. So even if the business does not going to go well within United States, they have some streams of income from outside, which will keep them in the business. So that is my hope. And also I'm not expecting Democratic president and his administration sudden changes in oil industry, because for example in Pennsylvania there is 2 million people employed in gas and oil industry, and I don't think that new president, when he takes the office, he's gonna shut down suddenly entire Pennsylvania industry, Pennsylvania gas and oil industry. So it will be a slow process, but I don't think it's going to be a process which is going to grow oil industry in United States. Second one is uranium industry. Uranium industry, if you saw my previous videos, I do own energy fuel stocks. I don't have yet 50,000 shares. I'm shy away 3,000 shares before 50,000, and also I own Cameco. With uranium industry under the Democrats is going to be a little tricky, because there was a significant project under the Trump administration done for uranium industry, and that was bipartisan project. So both parties supported this project, which is a good indication for uranium under the Democratic president. But Democrats, they love green energy, solar, wind, and it all depends if they include uranium industry as a green energy. If they consider and include uranium as a green and clean energy, then uranium is going to take off within next 4 years. But if they don't include uranium as a new renewable clean source of energy, then uranium industry might have to wait another 4 years at least before it takes off. That is my view. Also, uranium industry and the stocks of those companies which I mentioned, especially Cameco, they have some outside customers. So it's not only United States. We have China, we have India, huge countries which are growing rapidly, and the demand for energy is growing. And for them, my view is that they will take seriously uranium as a future of the energy. Also, we have South America growing. They will also consider uranium industry. So even if the uranium industry is not going to be in favor in United States, all over the world we have very strong presence of nuclear power. In Europe, France, very strong presence of uranium and nuclear power. So, like I said, US, if it doesn't take off, then there's always the outside world. US is not the only one country which is consuming the uranium. Next industry which I would like to talk about briefly is cannabis industry. So all major stocks of cannabis companies jumped on the news of legalization of marijuana, especially Aurora, which jumped 56%. I own some stocks of Aurora. Also, Canopy Growth jumped 10%. Afira jumped, I think, 6%. And Organigram Holdings, I think there was a small jump around like 1%. And it is all based on hope and expectations. But if this is going to materialize in the future, we will see, because Congress has to approve legalization of marijuana on the federal level. So it's not just the president which would like to do this, or vice president. There is a process which has to be taken in order for marijuana to be legalized. But so far, all the stocks jump really high, and like I said, Aurora jumped 56%, which so far Aurora was considered as my worst performing stock. I was planning to do the video about this, but right now, a couple of words. I bought Aurora in December 2019, and then stock went down drastically. Then it was the split, reverse split of the stock, because stock went under $1, so it was facing delisting from New York Stock Exchange. So far, the worst performing stock on my portfolio. But it's not realized loss, it's unrealized loss, because I didn't sell any of the stocks of Aurora. I'm keeping it. And I hope that in the future I will get all the money back from cannabis industry. So we will see. Next 4 years, they look optimistic for cannabis industry, in opposition to Republican president, who probably would not even consider legalizing marijuana. Next industry which I would like to talk is a banking industry. Banking industry is going to do really well in my view under Democratic presidency. Why do I think like this? Because Democrats are big spenders. They are not savers. So they will spend a lot of money on all the programs, additional administration, additional employees working for the government. Eventually, this will cause inflation. Inflation will cause that we will have to increase the interest rates on loans, and this of course will put money into the pocket of the big banks. If you watch my previous videos, you know that I own JP Morgan Chase, I own Bank of America, and I own Wells Fargo. So I'm not worried about the banking industry at all, because like I said, eventually and Democrats are going to be spending a lot of money. This will speed up the process when the banking industry is going to start making really, really good money. And of course, I'm really, really happy about this, because all the banks which I own, I bought during the panic of March 2020. So I'm already up on my banking stocks like 20-30%. Only one stock which is not doing really well, of course, is Wells Fargo, because of all the mistakes which company made. It's really said lightly, mistakes which they committed, the fraud, setting up the fake accounts. So, but I'm optimistic about Wells Fargo in the future. I hope they learn their lesson and they will never again make the same mistakes. It's a big company, big organizations, so I hope they will create the system of check and balances so something like this will never happen again. And another industry which I would like to talk is a defense industry. Defense industry under the Democrats was never doing really well, because Democrats usually cut their defense spendings. And from defense companies, I own General Dynamics, Raytheon Technologies, and Northrop Grumman. So already I noticed that during past couple days, and especially the Friday, stocks went down slightly, and I'm assuming that the reason why is that investors know that future Democratic president is not going to be spending so much money on defense. But there is another side of the story. Those companies in defense industry, they usually have a long-term contracts with government. And for example, subsidiary of Raytheon Technology, which is Pratt and Whitney, has a long-term contract with US Air Force, with US Navy, about maintaining jet engines, and this generates for the company steady income. The same with General Dynamics and Northrop Grumman. So it's not like this industry is going to go down completely. And I'm not really worried about defense stocks which I own. I'm going to let them ride. Even if they go down, it will not prompt me to sell them, because I deeply believe that peace is based on power. So for United States, in order to live in peace in the world, they unfortunately have to have constant power, constant, huge defense spendings in order to maintain this entire system of living in and the way of living. It's unfortunate, but it is a discussion for different subject. So I think it's inevitable that defense industry and defense stocks, especially big stocks, they will do well over the time. So that is my take on the defense industry. And one more bonus industry which I would like to talk about is gold and mining industry. Of course, I'm very bullish on gold and silver because we are right now in the times when we have historically low interest rates. What does this mean? This means that eventually interest rates have to start climbing up. We will not have this kind of situation indefinitely. Eventually interest rates and the value of the dollar is going to go down and interests are going to go up, which is great for the gold price. Already gold is circulating around $2,000 per ounce. I think within the next couple years the price will go higher, much higher. How much higher? I don't know, and I don't even want to speculate. So far I just know that all the gold stocks which I bought are between 100 to 200% up for me, which I'm really happy. I'm not cashing out on them because I'm just gonna let them ride and see how far they are going to go. Okay, so this is my take on those couple industries. Please let me know if you agree or you disagree with me about this what I said. If you disagree, please write the comment below this video and let me know why you disagree. I would like to hear from you. And I just want to say thank you for all the comments in the past. They really help me, they're very useful for me, and they just help me to be better investor, and they help me to look into my portfolio and the stock market from the different perspective. So thank you so much for all your comments. I wish you are staying healthy and well, and until the next time.